Well, hello everyone. It is me, Gazbot, and it's day 30 of 100 days of making comics. It is Christmas Eve day. It is light out. I am standing on my little teeny tiny porch thing, balcony, porch. Anyway, I got up a little late. I'm still wearing the same shirt from yesterday, as you could see. I slept in it, and now I'm awake in it. And I want to get writing done, but I'm waiting on Q. And to be fair, I just gave it to her last night. It's not like, what's she doing? It's been so long. But writing continues to sort of be the bane of this project. I don't know that I go as far as say I dislike writing, but I think that if I did something like this again, I would get all the writing done first. You know, maybe work on a couple designs, but like going into this project, I wanted to be drawing and be like at the end of 100 days, be like, look at all these pages I got done. I got 7 books done. I feel like I spent so much time writing, rewriting, waiting on rewrites on this project, which is something that needs to be done, obviously, but... And now a plane went by, so more. Anyway, yeah, the writing slows me up a lot, whether it's because I'm having writer's block or I'm waiting for someone else to give me a revision or whatever the case is. For example, today I got up, did a few things, checked some email, caught up on a few things like that, and now I have some time before I have to do anything. You know, Q's not up, and I'm like, well, I'll get the work done now, put the video up, get it all done so that I don't have to worry about it the rest of the day. And I'm even willing to put in more than a half hour, but I don't have anything to do. I mean, obviously there's always something to do, but I don't want to be doing design. Well, I've done so many designs. I don't want to do secondary, tertiary designs that never get used. I don't want to be doing thumbnails on pages that don't get used. I mean, arguably everything is good practice, but it's just disheartening that I don't want to be putting in more work that for no reason when it's already such a daunting task. However, I did want to do something and I did want to get done, so I put in 30 minutes, and one of the early scenes is a mining scene, which will definitely not be cut. It's, you know, it's been in every version and it's important to the story. And I had pulled some research for mining equipment. I had drawn a miner, you know, the guy, girl, whatever, that digs in the ground, not a small child. Anyway, I figured I'd just sort of put together like a dig site layout since I've never kind of drawn one of those. So that took me about a half hour. I also at some point referenced this tank mech thing, which is used for drilling in the background. Anyway, here's a speed farting. Planes. Anyway, here's a speed process of that. So here I am going through the reference that I had previously pulled when I was working on the miner design, and I had a design for a sort of tank mech with like a laser drill that could be used for mining and then later combat, repurposed for combat I should say, but I wanted to just sort of do a regular, I don't know what you call this, a backhoe or whatever, and I'm sort of roughly looking at the stuff in the background so that it'll kind of be based on reality, but it's also sort of a future world. But I figure no matter how future you get, you're still going to need things that can dig up earth, especially if you're mining. So I kind of just sort of loosely base it on the real machine and then put a couple extra little swivels and gears, like maybe the arm is a little bit more articulated. Makes it a little more fun to draw, and it's always easier to not have to be super accurate to the reference. That seems to be a running theme with a lot of my designs and a lot of the way I work, of wanting reference and then deviating from it. But just to get to look realistic, but not actually be a real thing that exists, that I have to worry too much about comparing the details every time I draw it. I'll give some treads. Once I wasn't sure what I was going to do. Once I did this, I realized that like I didn't really have any other things I needed to do because the tank mech was done and the miner design was done. That in the back I thought was just like a stabilizing thing for when it's picking up heaviness. I switched my reference here to rock and mining formation stuff, and you can see I start putting these little supports, which is in one of the reference images, and I've seen it before. They have supports in mines and tunnel shafts and stuff. I don't know that they'd actually be used in a situation like this, but again, I'm sort of going for a realistic enough look without worrying about it actually being real, and it kind of gave it something more interesting to look at, made it look more like they've been working there for a while. I put those piles, they kind of look like bushes maybe, but those are supposed to be piles of dirt that it's already pulled up. And then for scale and to make it look busy, I decided to start adding some people in various points. The guy in the front, you know, bottom right, he's like, hey, get some more work done over here. And maybe the guys right behind him, sort of bottom right, but not the big guy, maybe that's the foreman and the corporate guy talking to each other. Just save it there. A couple guys hanging off the edge drilling. This is the tank mech, which in
The story is sort of primarily used for drilling. It's automated, piloted, thing. There's nobody inside of it, and it can move itself. But most of its limbs are used for stabilization. Like it has those big arms, but they're just for stabilization, and it moves real slow. But it's got this heavy cannon, which is used for drilling. But later on, it gets repurposed and can be used for military purposes. Repurposed for purposes. That's Gazbutt's word of the day. Purpose. I didn't do it on purpose, but it serves its purpose. Okay, shut up. And so yeah, I threw a couple of those in the background because in this scene I want them to be present, but it's not like they're hero shot or anything. They're just utilitarian toys, tools, toys, whatever. And you could see in the far background I kind of have the wall because this is on the island which I designed earlier, and there's this big sort of crater area. It's walled in the center of the island, so any shot in there you're going to sort of see this high wall around it. Oh, I was putting in like a satellite communications thing, because I was thinking that even in the future, sometimes you need hard lines to get good reception. So it's picking up a boosted signal, and then it's got a little wire going down to the foreman. And I just threw some shading just to give it a little bit more atmosphere. This sort of thing I've done a few times. It's sort of a concept drawing or a proof of concept. I don't even know what you call it. A mood drawing, atmosphere drawing. Like, I'm not going to use that actual picture in the book. Or if I did, I would completely redraw it and just use this as a rough. But yeah, there you go. Felt productive. Gave you something to look at.
So there's that. And it's frustrating because I have time that I want to put in. And I thought about doing something else. Like, oh, I'll get some drawing done. I'll do a pinup, or I'll draw, whatever. I'll work on this. But I don't have any pressing client work, which is nice. But I don't have any, when I'm working on a project like this, I find it hard to work on another project. Like, I don't want to start a comic strip. I don't want to start working on another comic. I don't want to do anything else art-wise. I feel like it's like cheating on my main project. But no, it's a distraction, and I don't want to split my enthusiasm or my work. I just want to power through this one. And if a client job comes along or something like that, that's different. But things that I'm personally invested in, I find the more I dilute my enthusiasm, the less likely any of it is to get done. And so I find myself doing nothing. I mean, well, not doing nothing. I'll do productive things. I'll go for a bike ride or clean the house or whatever, but not work on any personal projects. Luckily today I have a lot of stuff to do anyway, like wrapping gifts on Christmas Eve and things like that. But again, maybe I would have put in 2 hours this morning. If I had 2 hours, I could easily put in. I don't know if any of this makes sense, and I'm probably just complaining about having free time, but I don't know. It's frustrating. And I think in the future, if I did this again, or if somebody else is going to do this again, I would recommend getting the writing done ahead of time. Now, arguably part of this whole thing is making time to do it, but I feel like writing is something you could do in your head for a lot of it, and then start jotting down notes on the phone when you're online, and like, you don't need to put aside as much time for writing. Maybe later in the process you do, so maybe you could come to it with, oh, it's all done, and now I'm just going to get rewrites or something. But I feel like I'm a month in, and I haven't drawn a single page. I haven't even done, a layout of a single page, and again, I'm enthusiastic about the project, and I'm glad I'm doing it, and I'm going through to the end, and I'm sure I'll have something good by the end. But this little intermediate step of like, I'm almost done with the writing, but I can't quite start, it's just a little bit frustrating. Regardless, we press on, and we press on into Christmas Eve, which is the 24th, but today is the 30th day, and that means there are 70 days left.